First up, the curse of the Toyol. Desperate for wealth, Masuri sought the help of a Bomo, who summoned a Toyol, a small, green-skinned spirit that stole riches for its master. To keep it loyal, Masuri had to feed it drops of her own blood. At first, she grew rich overnight. Gold and jewels mysteriously appeared, and the villagers whispered about her sudden fortune. But the Toyol grew restless, demanding more. If unfed, it scratched at her walls at night and whispered in eerie voices. One night, she forgot to feed it. The Toyol vanished. The next morning, the village was in chaos. Homes were ransacked, and children spoke of a lurking creature. Panicked, Masuri ran to the Bomo, begging him to undo the curse. He only shook his head. A Toyol never truly leaves. That night, Masuri disappeared without a trace. Some say the Toyol took her. Others believe it still roams the village, searching for a new master. Next up, the story of the Pocong. In a small village surrounded by dense jungle, the villagers whispered of the Pocong, a ghost wrapped in a burial shroud, bound at the feet. It was said to be the restless spirit of someone who had died before the burial ritual was properly completed. One night, a young man named Arif decided to venture into the forest, dismissing the tales as mere superstition. As he walked, the air grew colder and an unsettling silence fell over the woods. Suddenly, he saw something, a figure slowly hopping toward him. It was wrapped in a white shroud, with its face obscured, and it moved with an eerie, unnatural leap. The Pocong, frozen with fear. Arif couldn't move as the ghost's eyes glowed from behind the shroud. It hopped closer, its breath cold against his skin. As the Pocong's cries filled the night, Arif finally reached the village. With a burst of adrenaline, Arif ran, each one closer than the last. But the ghost's haunting jumps echoed behind him. The Pocong was real and it was coming for him. The villagers had been right. The ghost vanished into the darkness, but the terror remained in his heart. From that night on, he never spoke of it. But the villagers knew some spirits, bound by unfinished rites, will always come back seeking. Next up, the story of the Pontianak. In a quiet Malaysian village, there was a terrifying legend. The Pontianak, a vengeful spirit. She was the ghost of a woman who died in childbirth, cursed to haunt the living. With pale skin, fiery red eyes, and sharp claws, her eerie wail echoed through the forests, signaling her arrival. One night, Amina, a young woman new to the village, ventured to the well. As the air grew heavy, she heard a chilling cry like a baby's desperate wail. Suddenly, a figure emerged, her face hidden by dark hair, eyes glowing red. The Pontianak let out a blood-curdling scream, her monstrous grin revealing fangs. Terrified, Amina learned from the elders that the only way to stop the Pontianak was to find her grave and burn her body before the full moon. Armed with only a lantern, Amina ventured into the dark woods with one of the villagers, where the Pontianak's cries led her to an ancient grave. She set the grave alight, and the Pontianak rushed toward her. But as the flames consumed her body, the spirit vanished with one final, anguished scream. The village was safe, yet the haunting memory of the Pontianak would never be forgotten. Want more spine-chilling tales from horror around the globe? Subscribe and hit the notification button for our latest update.